The Octonauts and the Sea Turtle Eggs. One day, Shellington was on the beach studying Sandy the leatherback sea turtle. Sandy had just finished laying over 100 eggs in the sand. So even though you spend most of your time in the ocean, you lay your eggs on the beach. Burying my eggs in the sand keeps them safe, warm and dry, Shellington. Then, when my babies are ready to hatch, they dig up and crawl to the water and join me in the ocean. Oh, wow, so they just hatch knowing how to swim? That's so clever. Baby sea otters are born in the water. Our mothers fluff up our fur so much that we just float in the water like a cork. It takes us weeks before we can dive and swim properly. Turtles are actually safer in the water because on the sand we are slow and clumsy, but in the water we are fast and graceful. Look! Sandy slowly moved down the beach and splashed into the water. See how easily I move now that I'm in the ocean? Well, I hope you've learnt all that you need to about baby sea turtles, Shellington, but now I'm off to find another beach. I have more eggs to lay. Shellington loved being an octonaut, studying life in the ocean and helping his friends, but he also liked to be up on the surface and taking a walk on the beach. Meanwhile, not far from the island, Kwazii, Peso and Captain Barnacles were helping some sea creatures. Captain Barnacle was solving an argument between a crab and a stingray, and Kwazii was racing a shark to see who was the quickest at swimming around the rocks. Peso was helping a sea cucumber who had cut itself on some coral. Well, you are all bandaged up and ready to go, said Peso. Just remember to be careful around the coral next time. They can be really sharp. Thank you, I will, said the sea cucumber. Well, Captain, I have finished here, said Peso. How are you going at settling that problem? All finished here, Peso, said Captain Barnacles. The stingrays have agreed to leave the crabs alone, as long as the crabs don't eat all the worms and shrimps. Come on, Kwazii, it's time to go. Can you go pick up Shellington from the beach? Okay, Captain. Tell you what, Sharky, me mate, race you to the beach. Last one there's a rotten sea cucumber. You're on, said the shark, and they raced off to the beach. Kwazii and the shark were neck and neck, right up until they got to the beach. Then the shark slowed down. Watch out, mate, you're going to beat yourself, Kwazii said. Nonsense, I'm an expert at... Whoa! Kwazii hit the sand and crashed into a tree, pushing it over, right on top of where Sandy the sea turtle's eggs were laid. Shellington came rushing over. Oh no! What happened? It's okay, Shellington, said Kwazii. The Gup and I are fine. We just need to push back into the water. Not you, said Shellington. The tree has covered the eggs. They might be trapped now. The baby turtles can push through the soft sand after they hatch, but not through a tree. Shiver me whiskers, said Kwazii. I didn't know. What should we do? Shellington called Captain Barnacles and explained the problem. That's a problem, said Barnacles. Peso, sound the octo alert. We have a tree to move. In no time at all, Peso, Kwazii, Shellington and Captain Barnacles were on the beach. First, they all worked together to push Kwazii's Gup back into the water. Then, they tried to push the tree off the sand, but it was too heavy. Captain Barnacles said, We could use the Gup-X to push it off, but I'm worried that it might accidentally hurt the eggs if we drive too close. Flappity flippers, said Peso. We don't want to crush the eggs. Said Shellington. I have an idea. Shellington went into the back of the Gup-X and came back with a tow line. We can use this. The Octonauts tied the tree to the front of the Gup, and they were able to slowly drag it away from the eggs. Kwazii stood near the eggs and said, I'm not sure if you can hear me, mateys, but when you hatch, come and find Kwazii Kitten, and I'll give you one of my favourite red seaweed hamburgers, just to show I'm sorry. That's very kind of you, Kwazii, said Shellington. Very, very generous, Shellington. Especially since there's over 100 eggs. What? Said Kwazii. That's a lot of burgers. Everyone laughed, and they headed back to the octopod. Another day of working hard to help the sea animals.